Years later, some would say they entered the countryside as believers and returned as broken souls. By the early 1970s, China had become a nation of whispers. No one dared speak freely. No one trusted anyone. Art, literature, music, all censored. Only revolutionary songs and Mao's speeches were allowed. Behind the facade of unity, millions suffered quietly in prisons, in labor camps, or under endless political struggle. The revolution had devoured everything it once claimed to save. On September 9, 1976, Mao Zedong died. The man who ruled for nearly 3 decades was gone, leaving behind a nation in ruins and silence. Millions wept in the streets, or pretended to, for fear of being labeled counter-revolutionary. But behind those tears, another feeling was growing. Relief. For 10 years, China had lived through madness, all in the name of one man's dream. Now, at last, the nightmare was ending. Just weeks after Mao's death, his closest allies, the Gang of Four, led by his wife, Jiang Qing, were arrested. They were accused of masterminding the Cultural Revolution. The trials revealed the horrors of the past decade: torture, executions, propaganda, betrayal. But for the Chinese people, justice came quietly. There were no parades, no celebrations, just exhaustion, and a hope that the future would be different. In 1978, Deng Xiaoping returned to power, the same man Mao had once humiliated. He opened China to the world, encouraged education, trade, and progress. But the scars of the Cultural Revolution never truly healed. Historians estimate that over 2 million people were killed, and tens of millions persecuted. An entire generation lost its youth, its trust, its history, and yet few dared to speak of it. Even today, the Cultural Revolution remains one of the most sensitive topics in China. It is both a wound and a warning. History has many faces: glory, tragedy, and denial. For China, the Cultural Revolution was all three. It was a time when faith turned into fanaticism, when revolution became religion, and when one man's vision blinded an entire nation. Mao once said, "A revolution is not a dinner party." He was right. It was far worse. And for millions, the echoes of that chaos still whisper through time. The Cultural Revolution, 1966 to 1976, a decade of madness that shaped modern China. This was not just history. It was a warning of what happens when ideology becomes more powerful than humanity. If you've reached this far, you've just witnessed the end of a revolution that changed 1 billion lives. But history never truly ends. It only waits to be rediscovered. Subscribe to Histros Inc. and join us again, where history connects with you.